Human helps alien girl decode a signal, but human realizes the signal warns about him. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let's return to our main character, Noah Carter, alone on night shift above a frozen world. The outpost floated in the quiet dark, its panels trembling gently as the reactor cycled, the hum steady like a machine's slow heartbeat. Noah sat with his elbows on the cold metal desk, eyes fixed on the data streams sliding across the monitor. Routine readings, background radiation, cosmic dust, silence, then a flicker, a spike no wider than a breath. He leaned in, brushing a knuckle across the side of the console as if touch alone could sharpen the signal. The waveform wavered once, then stabilized into a series of pulses with a rhythm too intentional to ignore. He whispered into the empty room, "That's not noise." He isolated the band, ran a quick filter, and watched the static peel away like frost melting from glass. Underneath was a soft tap-tap-tap, spaced with uncanny precision, like someone knocking faintly from another lifetime. The sensation that followed was subtle, a tightening under his ribs, a small rise of the hair on his arms, but it felt familiar in a way he couldn't place. He saved the file to his personal drive before protocol could remind him not to. A low chime echoed from the vent as warm air drifted through, brushing the back of his neck. He checked the clock. Past midnight. Everyone else asleep. Perfect time to be curious, and maybe foolish. Noah transferred the clean sample to a small handheld device and stepped into the narrow corridor, its floor vibrating softly beneath his boots. He walked toward the auxiliary lab, where Lisa Wren worked late more often than she admitted. The door slid open with a muted hiss, revealing her bent over a holoscreen, silver-blue skin catching the glow like polished stone. Her eyes lifted, bright gold catching the reflection of starlight, as if holding a fragment of the cosmos inside. "You're awake?" she asked gently, her voice almost musical in the quiet room. "Couldn't sleep," Noah said, offering the device. "Found something. Thought you might want to see it." She took it carefully, her fingers cool against the metal shell. She tapped the surface, letting the waveform hover above the table in a translucent ribbon of blue. The moment she saw it, the faint markings along her temples glimmered, an involuntary reaction, like a shiver of recognition. "This pattern," she murmured, leaning closer. "It resembles ancient caution script from my world, but distorted. Almost injured." Noah watched her face change, curiosity sliding into something quieter, heavier. She looked up at him, the reflection of the waveform trembling across her eyes. "Where did you get this?" He hesitated for half a second, long enough for doubt to catch the edge of his breath. "From the deep band," he said softly. "It wasn't supposed to be there." The room seemed to shrink for a moment, the hum of machines fading beneath the slow, deliberate beat of the mysterious signal. Lisa dimmed the lights so the waveform glowed brighter, floating between them like a fragile secret. "If this is what I think it is," she whispered, "someone, or something, wanted it to reach you." Noah felt the words settle into him like cold settling into stone. He didn't know why, but he suddenly wished he hadn't come alone. Noah stood still for a moment as the quiet in the lab thickened, the waveform hovering like a whisper suspended in the dim air. Lisa angled the projection so it cast soft blue light across her palms, the ridges in her skin catching it like tiny mirrors. The pattern pulsed once, slow and deliberate, as if waiting for them to breathe at the same rhythm. Noah cleared his throat gently. "You said it looks like caution script. How old are we talking?" Lisa exhaled through her nose, a faint shimmer along her temples signaling deep concentration. "Centuries, maybe more. My people abandoned this style before we learned faster-than-light travel. It was used when danger was too great to describe with ordinary language." Her voice softened at the end, as though the memory held a quiet weight. She zoomed in on a cluster of pulses, isolating them until they resembled tiny stars drifting above the table. "See this? This spacing is intentional. It is calling attention to something specific, but the signature is fractured, like it traveled too far." Noah leaned closer, the faint hum of the overhead lights pressing gently against his senses. Could it be a leftover distress call? Maybe from one of your old survey missions. She shook her head, silver hair brushing her shoulders. If it were distress, the cadence would repeat evenly. This is different. It is more like, she paused, searching for the right word. Like someone stitching a warning together piece by piece, hoping someone would catch it before it falls apart. Noah felt the same prickle along his arms that he had felt when the anomaly first appeared. He watched the pattern shift, then reform, as if a mind behind it had chosen each beat carefully. Lisa dimmed the projection to half brightness. "Let me try something," she said, fingers hovering above the control pad with a gentle precision. She layered her people's ancient syntax over the waveform, letting the symbols float like transparent ink across the pulses. Slowly, several aligned, forming a faint corridor of meaning. She stepped back, eyes widening slightly. "It is referring to a traveler," she said softly. "One far from home. One exposed to something unseen." She hesitated again, the glow on her skin fading into a thoughtful coolness. "It does not mention a name. Only that the traveler carries a sign in his body that others will recognize before he does." Noah stared at the projection, heartbeat steady but heavy. "A sign," he repeated, tasting the word as though it might change if spoken softly enough. "What kind of sign?" Lisa shook her head. "I do not know. In the old texts, a sign usually meant an imprint left by contact with something powerful. Sometimes it meant the person was chosen. Sometimes it meant the person was marked without realizing it." She glanced at him, her gaze gentle but unblinking. "It can be a blessing or a burden." A soft vibration rolled through the floor, just enough to break their focus. Noah checked the wall panel. Only a routine reactor adjustment. But in that moment, the signal on the table flickered, the pulses shifting into a new arrangement, as though responding to the tremor. Lisa leaned in again. "It is changing, or adapting." Noah swallowed, the room's quiet pressing lightly against his ears. "It should not be able to react to anything," he said. Half to himself. "It is just data." But even as he said it, he felt the same familiar pull in his chest, a sensation he wished he understood. Lisa dimmed the projection entirely and turned toward him. "If this message is truly meant for someone," she said softly, "we should find out why it traveled so far to reach us." Noah nodded, though a knot of uncertainty tightened beneath his calm surface. He did not know yet what the signal wanted. But for the first time, he wondered if it had not come here by accident. The lab lights settled into a low hum as the projection faded, leaving only the soft afterglow across the table and the quiet rhythm of the outpost's systems breathing around them. Noah stood with one hand resting lightly on the side of the console, steadying himself, though the room was perfectly still. Lisa studied him for a moment, her gold eyes reflecting the faint shimmer of the last decoded fragments. "You look pale," she said gently. "Are you all right?" He nodded, but the movement felt automatic, as if answering a question that had not yet fully formed. "I am fine. Just thinking." The truth pressed deeper than that. The word traveler echoed in him like a distant memory. He searched the projection logs again, scrolling backward until the raw data flashed in narrow threads of light. Nothing about the signal made sense, yet everything about it felt too deliberate to ignore. Lisa stepped closer, not intrusively, just enough that her presence softened the sharp edges of his worry. "When my people used caution script, it was never to frighten," she said. "It was to guide, to warn with compassion, not fear." Noah let the words settle, warm in their intention, but something still tugged at him. Why would an ancient message care about someone like me? Lisa tilted her head as if listening for something in his tone that he had not said out loud. "You are not giving yourself enough credit." Her voice remained calm, steady as a heartbeat. Sometimes a person becomes important not because they seek it, but because they carry something meant to be understood. Noah opened his mouth to respond, but a soft chime from his handheld device interrupted. It was subtle, a vibration barely felt, but he recognized the pattern instantly. He lifted it, watching the display flicker with a new pulse. The same anomaly, same rhythm. But this time, the signal did not drift across the screen. It anchored itself to his device as if choosing it intentionally. Lisa's eyes widened. "It is locking onto your coordinates," she said. "That is not random." Noah exhaled slowly, trying to keep his voice steady. "Maybe the outpost grid is interfering. No, she said quietly. It is calibrating. That is what old guidance signals did when they found the person they were meant for. The handheld vibrated again, stronger. The blue pattern brightened, then expanded outward in a ring of soft light, illuminating Noah's hand. The glow was cool, not uncomfortable, like the touch of winter air against skin warmed by the sun. Lisa leaned in, her expression shifting from curiosity to a guarded calm. It is reading something in you, she said. Something the message recognizes. Noah felt his pulse quicken, though he kept still. There is nothing in me to read. She studied him, not doubting, merely observing. Are you certain? His breath caught. A faint memory surfaced at the edges of his mind. The mission accident years ago, the brief moment of unconsciousness, waking in a med bay with no clear explanation from the doctors. He had never thought much of it. People got injured in service all the time. But now the pieces pressed together with unsettling precision. Lisa reached toward the projection controls, her hand hovering above the panel without touching it. Let us decode the next sequence, she said softly. If the message is seeking you, we should understand why before anyone else notices. Noah nodded, though the heaviness inside him deepened. As she activated the next layer, the waveform returned, brighter than before, the pulses aligning into a pattern that felt unmistakably intentional. For the first time, Noah had the quiet, uneasy sense that the message was not just guiding him. It had been waiting for him. The waveform reassembled itself in midair, each pulse glowing with a clarity it had not shown before, as if the act of recognizing Noah had sharpened its voice. Lisa steadied her breath and adjusted the projection, her fingertips hovering above the controls with a careful grace. The lab lights dimmed automatically to compensate for the brightness of the signal, leaving their faces lit by shifting bands of blue and silver. Noah felt the glow brushing across his skin, cool and steady, like moonlight that somehow knew his name. Lisa glanced at him briefly. If this next layer reveals more about the traveler, we must read it before the system flags the anomaly. Noah nodded, but his stomach tightened. Run it. The pulses aligned, rotating slowly in a spiral pattern. Lisa overlaid her people's ancient syntax once more, and several symbols snapped into place as though the signal had been waiting for them. A soft chime resonated through the room. Then another. The projection translated the sequence into a flowing string of meaning. Lisa read the first line aloud, her voice barely above a whisper. The traveler has been touched by what he does not remember. Noah's breath caught. Touched by what? She continued adjusting the pattern, revealing more text. A presence. A remnant. Something that leaves no wound, but changes the rhythm of the body. A signature hidden from the traveler himself. Noah pressed his palm to the edge of the table, grounding himself. His mind returned again to the old mission, the one he rarely spoke about. An equipment malfunction, a brief loss of consciousness, waking to confused medics saying everything was fine. He had believed them because it was easier than questioning what he could not recall. Lisa studied his expression carefully. Does any of this feel familiar to you? He shook his head slowly, but the hesitation lingered. I do not know. Maybe. She stepped closer to the projection. If your body carries a rhythm that this signal recognizes, it means the message may not only be ancient. It may be intelligent in a way we do not yet understand. The spiral pulsed again, faster now, the motion gentle but urgent. Noah spoke quietly. What is the next line? Lisa decoded the following sequence. It says the traveler should not remain where he is. That staying too long near artificial grids could awaken what sleeps inside him. Noah frowned. Awaken how? It does not say, she replied. Only that the traveler must seek isolation before the mark becomes visible to those who would misuse it. Noah stared at the projection, feeling the weight of each pulse settling deeper into his thoughts. Visible? To who? Lisa hesitated, then answered honestly. Anyone searching for the signature. It is rare. It is valuable in ways that were never meant for war or control, but that is often how rare things are treated. The hum of the outpost grew slightly louder as the reactor shifted into a new cycle. The floor beneath them vibrated with a soft tremor, and for a moment Noah imagined the signal listening to everything, responding to every movement, as if it were alive. Lisa tapped one more sequence. The projection rearranged the final symbols into a shape that resembled an open path. This part is clear, she said softly. It says the traveler will soon be noticed by those who are not meant to find him. Noah felt the air cool around him. Not meant to. Lisa met his eyes fully. Yes. And whatever is inside you is the reason why. The room fell still, the signal pulsing gently in the space between them like a quiet truth waiting to be spoken. The projection's soft glow lingered in the air, shifting in slow spirals as if thinking its own thoughts. Noah stood still, letting the words settle inside him, though they pressed with an unfamiliar weight. The traveler will soon be noticed by those who are not meant to find him. Lisa read the line again silently, her gaze tracing the luminous symbols as if they might rearrange into something gentler the second time. They did not. She stepped back, folding her hands lightly in front of her. If the message is accurate, she said calmly, then someone may already be tracking the mark inside you. Noah rubbed his thumb along the edge of the console, grounding himself in the sensation of cold metal. But how would they even know I exist? Lisa breathed slowly, the subtle glow along her temples dimming as she entered a deeper state of focus. Signals like this do not travel alone. If it reached you, others may have received fragments. Some might interpret it differently. Noah looked toward the small circular window behind her. Beyond it, the frozen planet below reflected faint bands of light from the outpost's orbit, the ice surface shimmering like a cracked mirror. So what does this mean for the station? He asked quietly. For everyone here? Lisa considered the question carefully before answering. It means we should be discreet. Curious minds in the wrong places tend to act before understanding what they are dealing with. She reached toward the handheld device still glowing in Noah's palm. May I? He handed it to her, and she placed it on the table. The signal reacted instantly, shrinking into a tight cluster of pulses. Lisa frowned. It is withdrawing. That only happens when the receiving point becomes unstable. Noah raised a brow. Unstable. Not physically, she clarified quickly. Energetically. The message senses that the environment has shifted. It is deciding what to reveal and what to hold back. Noah crossed his arms, trying to mask the faint anxiety growing in his chest. Why does it feel like this thing knows more about me than I do? Lisa looked at him softly. Because it might. Some knowledge is older than the traveler it chooses. She expanded the projection again, focusing on a faint line near the edge of the spiral. Look here. This section describes a pattern of pulses that mirror biological rhythms. Heart rate, neural firing, even thermal variance. Noah blinked. Are you saying it is reading my vital signs? It is responding to them, she corrected gently. This is not surveillance. It is recognition, as if it is matching your rhythm to something it remembers. He felt a small chill at the base of his spine. So it is comparing me to someone from the past? Lisa hesitated, then spoke with deliberate care. Or someone from the future. Time behaves strangely in long-distance transmission. A message can outlive its sender or arrive before its purpose becomes clear. Noah let out a slow breath, trying to steady the knot forming in his chest. This is becoming a little much. Lisa nodded in understanding. Then we take it one layer at a time. She brought the waveform into focus again. The new symbols arranged themselves into a gentle arc, like a doorway half open. This part speaks of guidance, she said. It says the traveler must not face the truth alone. Noah glanced at her, the words striking deeper than he expected. Does it say who is supposed to help him? Lisa met his gaze with quiet certainty. It says he will know when the moment arrives. The waveform pulsed once, a soft thrum like a distant heartbeat answering a question Noah had not yet dared to ask. And for the first time, he sensed the message was not only warning him. It was preparing him. The waveform dimmed to a gentle glow, as if resting after revealing too much too quickly. The lab felt quieter than before. The kind of quiet that settles when two people finally understand the weight of what they are holding. Noah stepped back from the table, letting the cool air of the outpost brush across his skin. The faint vibration under his boots reminded him that the station kept moving, even if he felt briefly suspended in place. Lisa watched him with steady calm, her expression thoughtful rather than alarmed. There is something else we need to consider, she said softly. If the message can recognize your biological rhythm, then others with the technology to detect similar patterns might do the same. Noah glanced toward the ceiling, instinctively imagining antennas and scanners searching through the void. So you mean someone out there may already be looking for me without knowing who I am? Lisa nodded once. Yes, or they may know exactly who you are. He exhaled slowly, the breath leaving him with more tension than he expected. I have done nothing to draw attention. I am just a technician. I work nights. I follow routine. Sometimes routine is what hides the most unusual things, she replied gently. The handheld device on the table pulsed again, brightening briefly before settling into a low throb. Noah frowned at it. Why does it keep doing that? It reacts like it hears something I cannot. Lisa approached the device, examining the fluctuating data. It is synchronizing to your neural pattern. That should not be possible, unless the mark inside you carries something akin to a resonance. Noah attempted a steady tone, though uncertainty crept beneath every word. A resonance of what? Lisa hesitated, then answered with careful clarity. A resonance tied to the original source of the message. Something you encountered, something that left an impression deeper than memory. He felt a gentle tightening in his chest, the kind that came not from fear, but from recognition he did not want to acknowledge. That old mission, he murmured. The one I barely remember. The malfunction. The blackout. Lisa stepped closer, her presence grounding in the dim light. It is possible that whatever happened to you then is what the signal is responding to now. The room's ventilation system sighed softly as warm air drifted through the vents. Noah rubbed his hands together, more to steady himself than for warmth. And what exactly am I supposed to do with this? I cannot just walk into command and say a mysterious signal is personally interested in me. Lisa tilted her head, her eyes reflecting a soft glow from the waveform. You do not have to tell them. Not yet. We need clarity before we risk drawing attention to the message or to you. Her fingers glided above the projection surface, adjusting the final sequence they had not yet decoded. There is one more line. If the message truly intends to guide rather than warn, it will be here. Noah watched the symbols shift, slowly settling into place like stars aligning after a long drift. Lisa translated in a whisper, her voice steady and calm. The traveler must seek understanding in the quiet. In stillness, the mark reveals what words cannot. Noah blinked. Stillness. She nodded. Old guidance messages often urged people to step away from artificial environments to understand their true nature. The station may be interfering with whatever the mark is. Noah lifted the device, feeling its faint warmth. So it wants me to leave the station? Lisa met his gaze with unshaken clarity. It wants you to see what the station is hiding from you. Whatever is inside you may only reveal itself when the noise around you goes silent. The signal pulsed once more, gentle and expectant, as if agreeing with her. The signal's soft pulse lingered between them, steady and patient, as if waiting for Noah to accept a truth he had not asked for. The lab felt warmer now, though the air had not changed. Noah slipped the handheld device into his pocket, feeling the faint thrum against his leg, a reminder that the message recognized him even when he tried to ignore it. Lisa powered down the projection, leaving only the desk lights glowing dimly around them. If the message wants stillness, she said softly, there is only one place on this outpost where you can find it. Noah knew instantly what she meant. The observation dome. The single room not flooded with machinery hum, not wrapped in communication grids, not vibrating with the heartbeat of a working station. A place designed for reflection, not function. You think the silence there will trigger something, he said. Not trigger, Lisa corrected gently. Reveal. There is a difference. They walked through the dim corridor, the floor panels glowing beneath their steps. The night shift lull echoed through the outpost, a hush that made every small sound feel amplified. Noah glanced at Lisa as they walked. Why are you helping me? Her expression did not waver. Because the message chose you. And because you should not face what it reveals alone. The sincerity in her voice steadied him more than the station's artificial gravity ever could. They reached the dome's reinforced door. Noah pressed his palm to the sensor, and the lock released with a soft click. The room beyond lay in darkness until the ceiling windows adjusted, revealing a vast sweep of stars pouring across the sky. The frozen planet below glowed faintly, light scattering across its icy surface like powder under moonlight. Noah stepped inside, and immediately the signal in his pocket responded. The handheld vibrated gently, then more steadily, sinking to something in the silence. Lisa closed the door behind them, her presence quiet and grounding. Noah walked to the center of the dome, feeling the smooth floor beneath his boots. The room smelled faintly of cold glass and the sterile scent of recycled air. He took out the handheld and held it up. Its display brightened instantly, forming a swirling pattern of pulses that hovered above the screen. Lisa approached slowly, her eyes wide with recognition. "It is responding to your proximity to the natural field," she whispered. "There is no interference here. No artificial noise." Noah lifted his free hand, and the pulses shifted, following the motion of his fingers like a gentle tide. "It feels like it is listening," he said quietly. Lisa nodded. "Then let it." Noah inhaled deeply, letting the silence settle into his chest. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the pulses expanded outward, forming a ring of light that surrounded him without touching him. Lisa watched carefully, her posture steady, though awe softened the edges of her expression. The ring brightened. Noah felt a warmth bloom along his ribs, not painful, not frightening, just present, like a memory rising through him. He closed his eyes. A faint whisper of sound emerged, not from the device but from somewhere deeper, as if echoing through his bones. He opened his eyes slowly. The ring of light hovered in front of him, its pulses now forming a clear sequence. Lisa stepped closer, her voice calm. "Noah, it is showing us the mark." He looked at her, the quiet weight of the moment settling around them. "Then I guess it is time I finally see what it left inside me." The pulses shifted once more, bright and expectant, as if ready to tell him what he had carried unknowingly for years. The ring of light hovered in absolute stillness, bright enough to cast a soft glow across the dome's curved glass. Noah stood inside it, feeling its warmth press gently against the edges of his awareness, as if inviting rather than intruding. Lisa remained a few steps behind, calm and steady, her gaze fixed on the shifting pulses as though reading a language woven from light. The ring contracted slightly, then expanded again, each movement timed with the rhythm of Noah's breathing. It felt synchronized, almost companion-like. Noah lifted the handheld device, and the pulses responded instantly. They spiraled inward, forming a dense cluster that flickered with precise consistency. "It is focusing," Lisa said softly. "Do not move too quickly. Let it finish aligning." Noah nodded, though his heartbeat tapped a little faster. The warmth along his ribs increased, not sharp, not alarming, but undeniably present. He placed his free hand over his chest, trying to sense what the message was trying to reach. The pulses brightened, then stretched outward again, forming a tall, vertical pattern. Lisa stepped forward slowly, studying each segment. "This is a recognition sequence," she murmured. "It is matching your internal rhythm to its original imprint." Noah kept his eyes on the pattern. "So what does that mean for me?" Lisa hesitated before answering. "It means you encountered the source of this message before. Not directly, but close enough that it left something behind." Noah felt his breath stall for a moment. "Left what behind?" She scanned the pulsing line, her voice gentle, grounding. "An echo, a resonance signature. It is harmless by itself, like a faint memory encoded in your cells. But to the sender of this message, it is unmistakable." Noah closed his eyes briefly, trying to summon a memory he barely remembered. The old mission. The brief blackout. A strange warmth when he woke. Nothing more. He opened his eyes again. "This is what it has been trying to tell me." "Yes," Lisa said softly. "You are the traveler. Not by destiny, but by circumstance." The ring of light shifted again, this time forming symbols that drifted outward into the open air of the dome. Noah watched them float like glowing dust, held aloft by meaning alone. Lisa translated quietly. "It says the mark inside you belongs to a rare communicative field. A field used by an ancient intelligence to stabilize messages over extreme distances." Noah blinked. "So, I am carrying a signal stabilizer inside me." "Something like that," she replied gently. "Not a device. More like a harmonized imprint. It uses your biological rhythm to anchor itself." The pulsating symbols formed a soft arc above Noah's head, then descended until they brushed his silhouette like a faint, shimmering outline. He felt a mild tingling across his shoulders, as if the air itself had turned to cool mist. Lisa stepped closer, her voice steady but filled with quiet awe. "It is revealing the full shape of the mark. You cannot see it, but the projection can." Noah turned slightly toward her. "Describe it to me." She studied the shimmering outline as it shifted into a clearer form. "It looks like a pathway," she said. "A curved line leading from your chest to your right side. It resembles a guidance symbol from my people's early explorers." Noah let that settle, unsure whether to feel humbled or unsettled. "Why would it choose me?" Lisa shook her head softly. "It did not choose you. It found you. There is a difference. It found your rhythm compatible with the echo it needed." The ring of light dimmed for a moment, then pulsed once more with unmistakable urgency. Lisa inhaled sharply. "Noah, it is signaling a warning again." He looked at her, the warmth in his chest turning cool. "What kind of warning?" Lisa met his gaze, her voice very quiet. "Someone has detected the resonance. Someone is coming." The warning pulsed through the dome with a quiet insistence, a soft thrum that settled into Noah's chest like an echo of his own heartbeat. The ring of light around him contracted, then expanded again, its rhythm no longer calm but alert, as if bracing for something approaching from far beyond the glass. Lisa stepped closer, her gaze fixed on the shifting symbols. The glow along her temples brightened, a natural response from her physiology when confronted with heightened awareness. "The signal is reacting to an external source," she said softly. "It senses something drawing near." Noah looked toward the star-filled expanse beyond the dome. Nothing appeared out of place. No ships, no new transmissions. Only the quiet, cold beauty of open space. "How close?" he asked. Lisa listened to the pulses, her expression tightening with thought. "Not physically close, but close enough to register your resonance. They must be searching through indirect means." Noah exhaled slowly. "So they found the echo inside me without knowing where I am?" Lisa nodded. "That is what the message feared. The mark acts like a beacon when certain frequencies sweep across it. You cannot hear them, but the message can." Noah pressed his palm to the center of his chest where the warmth had gathered earlier. The heat had faded now, leaving a faint coolness behind, like a fingerprint pressed into memory. "What happens now?" Lisa looked at him, her voice gentle but unwavering. "Now we choose what the traveler does when those not meant to find him begin closing in." He stared at the ring of light as it flickered gently, its glow softening, almost sorrowful. "And what did the ancient messages say a traveler should do?" Lisa stepped forward, standing beside him as she translated the fading symbols. "They said the traveler should step into stillness until the signal reveals the path forward. And that path often leads away from what is familiar." Noah glanced around the dome. The quiet, the star-washed glass, the hum of the station buried beneath layers of engineered silence. "Leaving the station," he murmured. "That is what it wants." Lisa nodded. "The distortion around you is too strong here. If you leave, the resonance may weaken, making you harder to detect, and the message may reveal the rest of its purpose." Noah held the handheld device tightly. Its pulses softened, then brightened once more, forming a brief pattern that resembled a doorway. A threshold, an invitation. "It is guiding you," Lisa whispered. "Not running from danger, but moving toward clarity." Noah let out a slow breath. "If I leave, I go alone." Lisa shook her head gently. The message did not say that. It said the traveler must not face the truth alone. Her voice steadied, warm and calm. "And you are not alone." The ring of light brightened around them both, as if acknowledging her promise. Then, slowly, it dissolved into a soft haze, leaving only the thin shimmer of starlight across the dome. Noah looked at Lisa, the quiet weight of the moment settling between them like a shared vow. "So, someone is coming," he said. "But so am I." The device pulsed once more, gentle and certain, as if agreeing. And in the silence of the dome, with the planet glowing below and the stars watching above, Noah understood that the message had never been a warning about what he should fear. It had been preparing him for who he would become.